And I'm going to let you guys hear, and I'll be right over in a
Jake,
in a
you
second.
have another interesting story coming up while we're working on throwing these in here. I know you've got something interesting going on with Brandy.
Yeah, actually, I'll tell you something, Ken. I have never missed an opening day of the deer season. I've never missed being in a tree stand or being with my dad or one of my children on the opening day. Brandy Meng, welcome back from Iraq. You've got some pretty interesting stories about that for us.
Oh, amazing stories. In fact, you know, we did a lot of holiday greetings while we were over there. I'd say close to 70 or 80 holiday greetings. And you know, Jake, after the holiday greeting, we always ask them, what's the one thing you miss most about Northeast or Central PA? What's the one thing you just close your eyes and think about? And every single soldier said, the green grass, the trees, the smell of the outdoors. It's
and
a little,
this is in Iraq, right?
Yes, a little different than out there in the sand. And, you know, you can just imagine for the hunters, for those who enjoy the first day of the season, missing it is a big deal. So we asked them to kind of put together a little bit of thoughts for you, and here's some from their own words.
One thing I miss about Northeast PA is just sitting in a tree stand, just waiting for something to come along, just watching what else is going on. Might see an owl, some mice running around, squirrels. So it's more than hunting. It's what else is out there too.
But you're not going to do that this year.
Not this year.
Sergeant Major, what do you miss most being here in Iraq?
Probably what I miss the most being the hunting season for pheasants and deer season coming up soon is getting out in the woods with my son Bob and doing a little hunting. And going out in the four-wheelers with my daughter Melissa and her dog Boozy, and basically just being back home and with my family and doing what I used to do.
Yep, I have to agree. I mean, other than, you know, I miss my family a lot. But if there was one thing I could be doing right now that I'd really like to be, other than spending time with them, that'd be going out in the woods with my dad on a Saturday afternoon, doing some pheasant, grouse, and rabbit hunting, and then coming home to good hot soup that my mom makes. And if there was one food that we could get over here, and I think Mike would agree, we need some good Polish food. Some good halushki, some good kibasi, and some delicious halupki, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's nothing like a good pig in the blanket on a cold fall day.
I do watch Pennsylvania Outdoor Life, as a matter of fact. Hey, Jake, I'd have to say that with some of these venomous snakes out here, I think you'd have a hard time getting by out here. You need to be smart, and the sidewinders get up in the vehicle tires, and you always need to be on the lookout. You don't get to sit up in the stand and with a high-power scope and just wait for dinner to come to you.
Good morning, Jake. This is Master Sergeant Timothy Cleveland from the 92nd Aerial Port Squadron in Wyoming, Pennsylvania, and
Tech Sergeant Dan McCoy from 92nd Aerial Port Squadron.
You're wondering why we have the rifle. We're waiting for the first day of buck season. But guess what, Jake?
Unfortunately, there's no deer here. Wish there were, but we got other things that we could hunt.
We see lots of desert foxes, camel spiders, and we have occasionally run across some very ferocious mice who love Cat 5 cable and will totally take down our network in one bite.
Not quite as tasty as a slab full of venison, but just as good.
Thank you. And greetings to all the people in northeastern Pennsylvania.
The thing I miss most about northeastern Pennsylvania is probably hunting season and whole milk and my family. I hunt deer and bear up in Peck's Pond, right off of 402, Pennsylvania.
Tell me about that. Do you stand on deer stand or a deer stand?
Yeah, we you know, we go out Sunday night, find our deer spots. Me and my dad put up deer stands. Our uncles call it deer sits, but you know, and then we go out and if we don't see anything by noon, we go and we drive and go through the swamps, and you know, we try to run the deer and getting a kill, and if not, you know, we just go back and have dinner and talk about the day, and I don't know, it's a lot of fun and I miss it a lot.
What I miss most about Northeast PA is just green. Here we just got sand, nothing really to look at except the planted pine trees and all that. There's really not much to do except look at little suspicious grains of sand, but what are you going to do? We live our lives we try to forget home, but we really can't. We got a job to do, so we're trying to do it as best we can do. I thank you, Pennsylvania Outdoor Life, for remembering us over here at Al-Asad and everywhere else stationed around Iraq. We're going to come home and we're all going to hunt again, so we're looking forward to it.
And we obviously want to thank all of the men and women serving, especially the soldiers with the 109th National Guard Unit out of Scranton. We're talking guys from Honesdale, Carbondale, New Milford, Williamsport, Lewisburg, guys from our area serving overseas, missing out on tomorrow's excitement because they're defending our country right now. Also want to say thank you to the 92nd Air Force Reserve Unit out of Wyoming. They were included in that as well, Jake. A lot of men and women overseas doing the greater good right now, serving our country, defending our freedom, missing out on tomorrow's fun.
Absolutely, and you delivered a message, and guys, I think if anything, when we start our opening day tomorrow, we've got to say this is for the guys that are defending our rights to be here hunting. So we say thank you very much. William Hauer, who's on the USS Theodore Roosevelt in the Persian Gulf, says hello to his dad and wishes him well on the opening day. And I have a bunch of these, and we can't get to them all, but guys, trust us, our hearts and minds are with you. Thank you for that great story. Something about deer jerky?
Hey, I was going to say, Jake, I have to tell you, the soldiers told me, anyone out there who has any extra deer jerky tomorrow or throughout the rest of the season, I believe December 10th, they'll be happy to take it off your hands. They can use it out on those convoys or up in the towers or anywhere, and they'd certainly appreciate deer jerky.
Okay, well, we'll keep that in mind. Brandy, thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right, now, guys, you're still working over there. What are you doing? Are you celebrating postcards?
Thanks to those guys in Iraq. I hope you get back soon, but in the meantime, we're going to keep dumping these, Jake. As you can see, we have a lot more to go, so we're going to get them in here.
I think you should dedicate your whole first deer to the boys of Pennsylvania Outdoor Life over in Iraq.
Just get a bunch of jerky makeup. It sends real easy. It preserves well. So.
And of course,
with tears in their eyes and love in their hearts, the look of disbelief was worn by many as they paid their respects to 27-year-old Staff Sergeant Daniel Arnold. Better known as Danny to the folks here, he was a friend, a brother, a son, a husband, and a father. But he died being a soldier. He leaves behind a wife and 2 young boys, ages 1 and 3. Those who knew him best say Arnold understood what it meant to answer the call to duty.
When Danny left in July, he left a note with his wife for his family, just in case he didn't make it back. So he knew exactly what he was doing, and he knew the cost of being a soldier.
Staff Sergeant Tim Evans is part of the same National Guard Reserve unit as Arnold and the 4 other soldiers killed in the attack. He says the depth of sadness can't be put into words, but Arnold died a hero fighting for his country.
These guys believe in their heart what they do. All right, they wear this uniform, they wear it with pride, and that their country calls them to serve. They act on how they feel.
The loss of Staff Sergeant Daniel Arnold is great, and his memory will forever be honored by his actions of giving the ultimate sacrifice. Brandy Mang, Newswatch 16, Montrose. Draped in the colors of freedom, 19-year-old specialist Oliver Brown was given a final salute before the horse-drawn caisson took him from his high school to his resting spot. The rain may have masked some of the tears, but Mother Nature couldn't hide the sorrow.
He's our hero. Oh, he was awesome. He volunteered. Ollie was one of a kind. Well, he was always there.
Specialist Brown, better known as Ollie or Billy to those here, was a 2004 graduate of Athens High School. He was killed September 28th while serving in Iraq with the Pennsylvania National Guard in the 109th Company C out of New Milford. The family called the ceremony a funeral celebration in honor of his life and sacrifice. Veterans called him a hero.
It's important to us as veterans to make sure that our fellow veterans are treated with honor and dignity, and we just came down to pay our respects and let the other personnel that are still serving, let them know that we appreciate their efforts.
Inside the program, a picture of Specialist Brown and a poem, A Hero's Heaven. It reads, "There's a place called Hero's Heaven, only the bravest get to see, reserved for those who gave their lives for the love of liberty."
A look above the St. Thomas Aquinas Church steeple this sunny day couldn't reveal the sadness on the steps below. It's where hundreds of people gathered to mourn the loss of Sergeant First Class George Puglisi, 39 years old, killed in combat last month. At a cemetery in Archbald, fellow soldiers took Sergeant Puglisi to his final resting place. That's where we met Major Judah Whitney, who served with him in Bosnia.
He was a great man. He was one of the finest non-commissioned officers I've ever known. He's going to be sorely missed by his, number one, his family, his kids, and his fellow soldiers.
Many soldiers were there paying tribute, but it was Sergeant Puglisi's nephews, 11-year-old Robert and 10-year-old Joseph, who wanted to tell us we would have liked him. He was a great uncle.
We get all the family and we play. It was fun having some fun times with him when he was here in the summer with us, and we loved coming to see him. And now that he's gone, it's just that it's very sad now because we're never going to see him again.
And for the people who didn't know Sergeant Puglisi, a fellow soldier offered this.
This country couldn't have sent a better man to fight for it.
Sergeant Puglisi leaves behind a wife, Leanne, and 3 children under the age of 8. Julie Sidoni, Newswatch 16, Archbald, Lackawanna County. Cars slowly made their way into South New Milford Baptist Church's parking lot. And as friends and family walked into the church, one thing stood out. Everyone's wearing colorful clothes.
Billy's mom and dad asked that the people come to celebrate, and Billy did not want a funeral, he wanted a party. So the people are here today to celebrate Billy's passing, not to mourn.
Rick Craig was Billy's employer when he worked as a photographer for Craig's Boutique in Montrose.
Yes. As an employer sometime, he's drove us nuts, show up late to work, come back